All right.
So let's pick it up from Mark, and then we'll just go again, Joshua.
Okay. Yeah, you guys kind of heard the first part that I'm with Tip.io. It's a tipping bot on social platforms. Our whole idea was to make crypto in general as simple as possible to get the masses in. So we decided to do it that way, to work with existing social platforms rather than creating another platform or something like that. And we've got a number of features on that, rewards campaigns and other things like that. And where we plan to go next is getting into NFTs. So anyone can create anything creative, music, art, posts, or anything like that, and distribute those over these social platforms like Telegram and Twitter and things like that, and start to allow creative people to earn money rather than just being an investment banker or something like that. So we're working on that, and that's kind of a brief. I can go into a little bit more, but I'll let Crypto Badger go.
Cool. Hi, I'm Andres Lares. I'm here in Venezuela, in Caracas, Venezuela. I am like a serial entrepreneur, in many in many areas like 3D printing, blockchain, early adopters, and I'm here in the blockchain space since 25. Many years, 7 years here, and I am not in EOS since beginning because I'm pretty involved with Dash community, the biggest DAO in that moment, and the explosion that Dash impact here in Venezuela and Latin America is many pretty many teeny teams like my team or other teams see the view the time point of the DAO. The way to do the stuff is the way we need to achieve the reconstruction of our system, because here in Latam the system is very broken. We don't have the system we could trust in, and the feeling in the people is like we don't have anybody on what we trust, and even EOS and the ecosystem in itself is the way to I see the Latin America could grow in a safe way or a healthy way, and I am here to push the idea.
Sorry, everybody.
Maybe
Speaker's
I don't
computer
know.
doesn't.
Then in my previous spoke with the first round, I have I spoke about the possibility to make a EOS hub, like a co-work space, like in the central way to in many places in Latin America where we people can crash and make stuff. Is a safe way to push project with a serious compliance registration, and that is my business here. Make the compliance possible to allocate many resources and many projects in Latin America with in the smoothest way, because the friction is with the political and with the economical registration, regulation. I don't know. That is the thing we could achieve with that tight budget, because it's not about build up a big project. It's a pretty little step with regulation, registration, and if we achieve in this election in the future election the more budget, rent as space in Venezuela, Buenos Aires, Colombia, and many places to make that hope possible. And that I am here for this in Eden, and for that feeling that I see in this ecosystem. I I need to replicate this in our countries, because I feel more trust in you people, in you all, that are my government, and I need to build something with you guys that we could replicate and escalate.
Yes, for one, I see Venezuela as the biggest success case for EOS so far in terms of real adoption from real people, making real stuff happen with the EOS microloans and the EOS marketplace, which is running principally in many Venezuela. So I'm all the way with you, Andres. So guys, let's do the following, because the four of us are running. I guess what we could do now is, in order to reach consensus, I suggest in the same order we introduce yourselves. So it wasn't maybe in all of our recordings, it won't be in mine. But what we can do is, so we went over the intros, we can do the same order and just say, what would we be using the allocated EOS for, and why should each one pick ourselves, or what do we do with our vote? And then we'll do another round to maybe try to reach consensus. How does that sound? So Joshua, you would be first.
All right. Well, I think there might be some collaboration opportunity here. There's three main projects in this election that I'm raising awareness for. One of them is the Eden proxy that Chris is leading out on. The other one is a project you might not know about yet, but it's come out of a marketing focus group that Waxa is leading, and it's just one of the byproducts of that focus group. There's other things going on, other initiatives and campaigns and stuff, but that is a EOS support, like a customer support platform. Randall Rowland is going to lead out on that, and in the beginning, probably self-fund it. We're thinking about ways to bootstrap it, and it might just be called EOS support. That might be the name. But the idea is to take all of there's a lot of people providing support for EOS, but it's not maybe the most professional way. So a lot of it's happening through Telegram. I have a whole pitch deck for both of these two things I just mentioned. We don't have to get into it right now. But interesting for Mark to know, and Randall may have already talked to you about this, but for bootstrapping it, one idea we have is to use there's different apps out there. One of them that comes to mind is Calendly, and it allows people to book time with whoever the options are to book time with. You can do one-on-one and group events, and they have their availability, and then it automatically shows the time zone of the person that's there. We probably should use it for doing inductions.
I use it for my personal meetings.
Yeah. And there's other things that are similar, like there's a WordPress app that does similar things, similar UI as Calendly and stuff. And anyway, using something like that, and then also leveraging the Tippet bot that Mark has, so that these representatives can be tipped. And Randall's vision is to build the tipping function into a platform that he's going to lead out on developing. So the Eden proxy doesn't really need a lot of money, and paying for something like Calendly for however many people want to be representatives. Dario is one person who's like gung ho about it. EOS Arabia is also excited about it. So we'll probably leverage anyone who wants to do that, and it's not a big chunk of money. So the big chunk of money that I would like to allocate today would be going to Gray Mass for a project that I sparked the discussion. They've been getting into the details. I have a pitch deck for it, and it's mostly I'm calling it a user management system, but the two main components are a profile system and a single sign-on or an OAuth 2 type of solution for EOS. It's not only about authenticating and logging in. This thing it's a much larger project that can be used for other things. But the initial thing that I sparked discussion about is on the EOS community forum, I'd like to be able to log in with my EOS account rather than something else. I'd like to be able to install that functionality on a WordPress website. I'd like people to be able to log in with their EOS accounts. It's a very basic thing that would drive a lot of adoption. That's not the only use case for it. Gray Mass has suggested that we could start development on one component of the larger thing. They're willing to advise on it and develop parts of it. They don't at this time. Maybe they've changed their mind since I talked to them recently, but they don't believe that they would be able to develop the whole thing. So it would be a kind of a collaborative endeavor, which I think maybe may overlap with EOS Starter. And the first component that they're suggesting would make the most logical sense for them to tackle would be beginning to develop the profile system, which again would have more use than just single sign-on capabilities. And they would like to begin, and I guess I would be doing the legwork for this, they would like to begin advocating for a kind of a standard for EOS that the block explorers and other apps kind of agree upon. And there's already some things like that in the EOS ecosystem. And there's even some components that exist in Telos. And I think Aaron is playing liaison for that right now. But there's not like an official standard that everyone has kind of agreed to adopt. And so this would be kind of, need to be done some legwork to kind of move in that direction. So the downside is that this would only be to develop, to begin developing one of the first major features. And I could show you guys the pitch deck if you wanted to, and if we have time.
I don't think we have time, Joshua.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
We should just propose what we want to propose and then try to reach consensus. So it's going to be 2 rounds.
Yeah, so I'll just pause right there to make sure everyone has a chance to go.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Joshua. So I think I'm next. So as I told you guys, even if I'm moving forward from this round, we will not be using any of the funds for EOS Starter. I'm funding the operations right now. We're doing a lot of stuff, so you're welcome to join. But what I would be focusing on if I move forward is, so first of all, to making Eden self-sustainable. That's a big priority we need to move forward. So first of all, getting someone or who's doing Dominic's role so far to get him paid, because there's no guarantee that Dominic would just keep volunteering on doing this. So I really want to also acknowledge that this is a job and it takes a lot of work to get the thing coordinated. The second thing that I would like to support is that the Eden proxy and the Eden block producer. So we can get some more fundings to keep Eden growing and developing and moving forward. And as I told you, the third thing I think would give us a great head step into more adoption and linking us to the broader crypto ecosystem would be that EOS.EVM smart contract. If I can find someone who's spearheaded, that would be the funds allocated for. If not, I would be willing to spearhead it myself, provided that I'm not the one that's going to be doing the coding that's needed to deploy it onto the mainnet, but I'm willing to move that forward because I believe that tapping into the broader Ethereum ecosystem is a must for us. For EOS not only to demonstrate its capabilities as a blockchain, but just to move forward the inter-blockchain communication aspect, which it's super critical. So that's me. I think maybe Mark, you're up next.
Yeah. So my idea was for the funding. Tippet.io has been self-funded all along. We haven't really been looking for revenue. We're just trying to help build out the system. So 10% would go to Tippet just as a good faith measure. The other part was, I believe that we need to bring awareness to the EOS space and make it healthy. And one idea I had was to treat this EOS Eden fund as sort of like a little mini VC fund, and then have different people pitch their projects. Like Roland did pitch his project, and not only could Tippet help on the development side possibly for that EOS support thing, but maybe fund that as well. So I think that would bring a little bit of awareness and get more people involved that want to get funding, whether it's for marketing, bringing people on board, or development projects, or just utilities and tools for the Eden ecosystem. So I'd like to bring in just lots of ideas, and then give basically 10% to each one of those ones that kind of win through whatever board we have, or a few people that could decide on which projects to fund. Maybe use Eden as a mechanism to decide which projects to fund.
Awesome. I'm all for it too. Thinking important things too, and tipping about it's awesome. So, Andres, you wanna go next?
Yeah, in I have the network, the contacts, and the resource to make possible that else hub do we need to achieve here in Latam. And the first step we need to do is the legal process to register a DAC entity or DAO entity like Wyoming here in Latam, and make the pilot project for everything project what need the DAO compliant here in Latam for make startups, or I don't know, but with that system, and I could be the Eden ambassador of that of a fractal startup managed by Eden community here in Latam. It's a squad of Eden Latam community that could be the bridge with that hub where when you crash and develop something, and the compliance system with the EOS registration, because EOS is a pretty cool compliance blockchain, and we need to do is forward in the same way, because the friction need to be zero to achieve many projects here in Latam. And with EOS Starter, Pomelo, and Eden, many projects will be here in Latam in exponential way. EOS Marketplace is the perfect example what EOS could achieve in exponential way with teeny budget. And that hub is in Latin America and in Venezuela is the cheapest way to do that registration, rent, and the interns and the employees of that hub could be at the central employees, and that could in the way of Salvador. Salvador have the Bitcoin flag, and Miami. We need to bring this for here with in the DAO and that way, and that is what I want to do with the budget. And if we achieve more budget, that is in the same way to achieve that else hub.
Andres, so just let me understand. Are you saying that you'd like to put up an EOS hub, like a physical space with a rent and pay for people to come there and develop on EOS? Or would it be EOS developers just showing up? Would it be like a WeWork kind of office? I'm not sure how, how having a physical space to develop on would move us forward. I'm trying to.
Here it's many co-work space business model that they rent the space, and many startups and freelancers are here. That that's the thing. But with that hub is for the compliance system for project that not need to be in the place, but need to be the compliance in that place. It's como the central compliance, but for the central startup that crashing here for the same way to manage the business.
So is that like having a registered agent? So this would be the physical location that people would use to set up a DAO in the jurisdiction of Venezuela?
Yeah, the pilot will be here in Venezuela and grow in many communities in Latin America.
Are you thinking to use some of the EOS open source software or any of the other things that are like EOS DAC or DAC Factory, these things that are kind of already in the EOS ecosystem to repurpose them for the Spanish community?
We have already two DACs in the Latin community and managed with me and my team. But the problem with the EOS smart contract is not is not EOS DAC or DAC factor is not complete. It's very difficult to launch a DAC, launch a DAO. It's very difficult. I have a knowledge to do the stuff in the smart contract, but it is hard. And with EDN, I think the DAX launching could be more easy and is a perfect way to all the people launch a DAO and in their home, in their buildings, for manage everything. I want to Latin America manage everything with eating system.
Now, even if you are fully compliant with all that like regulations that we see forward, and you put up a DAO in Venezuela, the chances of Venezuela recognizing it as a DAO, like it happened in Wyoming, are close to none, right? Because you would have to have Maduro's blessing, pretty much.
That I don't want to be more profound deep on this, but I was part of the Zona Creep team at the beginning of here and the regulation team in Venezuela, and I have the network to do this cool stuff. But we need I don't know I don't I'm not here for the budget. It's more for the approve of the community that what that Andres, the guy of Venezuela, have that idea. I approve that. You feel me? It's like
yeah, that the community considers it's important and is aware about it. I see. All right, guys, listen. So everyone had his kind of go. I I would vote for all of you guys. So I'll just say that I am willing to succeed my vote. But I'm just not sure for which. So for the sake of consensus, I think we are all of us four are kind of strong candidates. So what I'm saying by this is that I'd rather have us reaching consensus than not reach consensus at all. So so I will just open the room for suggestions on who should move forward.
Well, normally I would just vote for one of you guys, but in this case, I do want to advance. And part of the reason I want to advance is because I think I have more time, and the way that I'm positioning myself in the community, I can advocate for all of your projects, and I can further develop them, represent them, be a liaison, help you do legwork. I'm in Mexico, and I'm strongly looking to develop the Spanish speaking community. Spanish is not a strong language for me, but my wife is a citizen of Mexico. I've been developing my connections in Latin America, and
Distrito Federal?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Distrito Federal, Mexico City?
No, I'm not in Mexico City. I'm in León, another large city,
Yeah.
kind of near it. That's where my wife was born. But I'm in a position to champion all of your projects going into these upcoming elections and do legwork in between the elections. And I'm involved in several initiatives. I'm going to continue to move those forward regardless of what we do in this room today. But I think that sort of makes me unique to move on. However, I am also willing to, I don't know, what did you say, concede? Is that the formal word? Concede my vote if necessary. I would rather us reach consensus than nobody be able to advance.
One thing that I discovered in the last Eden election that may be a good way to look at it is, obviously you're gonna, or most obviously you're gonna vote for yourself as, you know, first vote. But if you also give, what is your second vote? Then that way we could see if there's a consensus around the second vote from each one of us. And I just throw that out there. That might be helpful.
Okay, guys. So I'll try to start move things forward. I think Joshua has presented a great point, and he is also very involved in the great initiatives that are going on. He just declared that he has the time in his hands to be dedicated to Eden on a very dedicated way, which is something that I cannot say for myself because I am running EOS Starter and that is taking most of my time. Not to mention that I'm also helping out with voice still, and so if Joshua has the time to dedicate to move Eden and the proposals that we are championing forward, which is EOS Starter, Tippet, and the DAO in Venezuela, I would like to point my vote to Joshua. That's one for me.
Just to clarify, I don't know if we could fund all of our things today, but I'm willing to do the legwork, preceding this election with each of you to prepare to move things forward in all the ways that they need to go, including positioning them for additional funding. And
no, sure, we're just acting as if it would be a huge budget. We're not expecting you to we're not expecting you to develop a fully off to global identification process with EOS accounts with 2,000 EOS. No one's expecting you to do that. But I'm just saying that you seem like you'd be very good for representing us. That's what I'm saying.
In my point of view, Joshua is for me it's a new phase in ecosystem, and that because I will vote for him because we need to grow. We need to grow with my path to that for in this round. Achieve that we want to achieve here, that the approval of the idea and the idea of my squad for build that L hub, and I think Joshua can move forward pretty cool, and she looks like is pretty prepared for this. It's a challenge. It's a new challenge for all here, and I think Joshua is looks like a great leader.
Yes, agreed. Mark, what do you think?
Obviously, I would like to win, but I do think that Joshua, you really have a beautiful voice. You're so calm.
You guys are too kind.
I'll just throw out, I do have time. Luckily, Tippet team and our other company, I have a great team that takes care of most things. So I just kind of manage this stuff. I do have time, but it looks like with you guys voting on Joshua, I would support that.
Awesome. So looks like we have consensus.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen, so much. In another election, I would probably vote for either one of you.
No no worries. So, all right, Joshua, I think we got consensus. We're voting you for the next round. Make us proud, be sure to represent us along the way. And yeah, you did great. So we'll be displaying that now in the Telegram room and in the Excel. You got the recording, right?
Yeah, I do. I don't have the full thing since the beginning because I did stop it before Dominic suggested pausing it, but I have this whole room here. I would like to just mention though that I meant what I said. I have been wanting to connect with each of you individually, and I want to immerse myself in knowing what you're doing now and what you're looking to do next with each of your projects, so I can prepare to raise awareness for them and advocate for them in the future. So I would just like us to be able to reach out outside of this meeting, if that's all right with each of you.
Absolutely.
I'm cool with that.
What is our breakout room number? Do you guys know?
It says room 1.
Oh, we're number 1. Okay. I added a round 2 sheet to the Google Sheets. So if you could all put your votes in there. And
Okay.
then when the
Awesome.
recording's up, we can put that in there as well.
All right, guys. So let's put up our decision in the Excel. Again, we're all free to write whatever you think, but if consensus is reached within the time that we're given, then I'll also be moving Joshua Seymour, because that's a Telegram main for the next round. I don't see round 2. Okay, now I see. Okay, awesome. All right. So if you don't need help with the recording, Joshua, I think we're good. We're good here.
Okay, I'm gonna jump out so that the recording will start converting for me because it takes a while.
Sure.
Thank you guys so
All right,
much. Look forward to chatting with you on Telegram.
All right. Thanks,
Good work.
Joe.
Bye-bye.
Hey. Nice. We are live.
We
Ok, message
just
ici
reached
pour l'instant. Ah, non, il y a eu un bug, attends.
Hello Hernan.
Ok, hop, je t'envoie le carré vert. Enfin, si ça passe, parce que
Patrick.